Well, hi again and welcome back to our BBC here at the Abbey. We have quite a room full of people here with our exploring monastic life, and I've had the great pleasure of cooking for people, which is wonderful. So I'm very happy. So thinking about this talk today, I just started thinking, what is one of my very favorite teachings that came early on in Buddhism that really, when I heard it, I said, yes, this is different, this is wonderful, this is exciting. And here's what it is. Why are Bodhisattvas happy when they meet someone who's terribly difficult? I thought, that's just wrong. I'm not happy when I meet someone terribly difficult. I just want them to go away. So listening to Venerable Children and reading other teachers, listening to other teachers about this, it's one of the most wonderful ideas that come, I think, in the mind training. And so Venerable Children has her story about Sam, and I have my story about someone I'm now naming Keith, and I'm changing his name to protect the innocent, which is him, not me. So this is the story of Bad Keith, and I was, some of you have heard this, I was a director of an agency, and Bad Keith was one of my employees, and it felt at the beginning it was this thing where he was very, very nice, very so helpful, everything you want, everything you need. A little yellow flag was going up in my head, but it was kind of like, this is nice, I like this, you know. So the oven's going off. Kevin, I think, got it. Okay, so so a little bit, but then as I began to talk to Keith about things that he would need to change, Keith seemed to change. I'm sure he was completely inherently existent, and he was changing, and he had been good, but now he was headed towards bad. And long story short, he ended up organizing the other employees to petition for my removal, and sued me in court, and it was a very difficult time. And thank goodness for the Dharma. I was pretty new to the Dharma, and what the little piece I got about why Bodhisattvas want to run into people like this is it was as though Keith took me and shoved me into the Dharma. It was like, you better practice because you're not going to get through this with your mind intact. And I met with Venerable Children to get guidance. I started doing Tara Mantra. Like, I can't tell you how much I sat in my office doing Tara Mantra, and as she said, just fill the office with Tara's green light. Just every day when I'd go through the door, I would say, okay, today may I practice all 6 perfections here. And it really, really accelerated my practice. And so this, now I look back 16 years later, and I think of the people I worked with and the ones who were my favorites, and then Keith. And I think of what, I think it was Lama Zopa, was it Lama Zopa or Lama Nyeshe asked you, who's more kind to you? Yeah, Lama Zopa asked Venerable when she had run into a difficult person, who's more kind to you, Keith or the Buddha, or Sam or the Buddha? And I look back and I say Keith was the most kind person in that office to me. The others were not urging me to practice the Dharma. They didn't, you know, they were all doing their job. They weren't resisting rules and guidelines, and they were all just carrying on, and they were friends of mine, and it was lovely to be with them, And then there was Keith. So this is really true, and I think that what is so profound about this is this idea in the mind training and in the Dharma that there are no enemies. And that was the other thought that I kept using as a mantra that Venerable Chidren gave to me to use, was never see him as an enemy. And no matter what he did, I would just keep saying, this is not my enemy, this is not my enemy, you are not my enemy. And it really worked. I could see, I don't know, it just made some space to just sometimes wonder about what he was doing, sometimes to get help from my supervisor about what he was doing. But whatever it was, I just got this mind of refusing to see him as the enemy. And it worked about maybe 75% of the time, which was pretty incredible, because this whole thing took about 18 months of really feeling like my feet were to the fire, as they say. So I think this is a story about why bodhisattvas want to meet a person of bad nature. I am not a bodhisattva, but this was a little taste of it, like what good is that, you know, what good is that? And I think that these people really push us to put our money where our mouth is, or where the rubber hits the road. You know, we can sit in meditation, we can read a lot of books, we can say all these words, bodhisattva, bodhicitta, but these are the folks that appear, and when we're with them, it's like, now I'm practicing. Now I'm practicing. Because what he did was show me all the places where I was impatient, where I was afraid, where I was angry, and they were just thrown up over and over and over. Now you don't know what to do, you're confused, now you're scared, now you're angry. And I would have to work with it or go into it, and it was much better to work with it. So again, I come to these 8 verses of thought transformation in closing, and number 4 is just says it like it is. Whenever I meet a person of bad nature who is overwhelmed by negative energy and intense suffering, I will hold such a rare one dear, as if I had found a precious treasure. And the other piece that I learned after this verse and this scene that occurred and is over is that the one that does this for you actually does it for you. You can carry your compassion further by thinking, wow, look what they are going to be suffering because of all this fracas that we caused together. It's not like they're doing something bad and you're doing something great. I brought a lot of karma in there to be purified. And in the purification, someone like Keith takes on whatever they take on, you know, and we don't want them to suffer.